And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. As my name is Ron Foster, and I'm touching base with you as I do every day with my buddy on a Thursday. So you know what day it is. When you see Chris on that seat there, it is Trend Watch Thursday.
Yes,
There's a
it
whole lot in the
is.
news. What's going on, Chris? How are you doing today, sir?
You know what? I'm doing pretty good. I'm not going to complain. Not
And
going to
I
complain
say
at
you
all.
looking sharp. You're looking sharp. Got your
You know
hat
what?
on and got the sleeves, arms exposed.
I was like, I'm in my closet and the hats are just stacked on top. I was like, I haven't worn them in a while. Let me throw a hat on. Why not?
Yes.
And it's so gloomy here, so I figure I'm brightening myself up a little bit this morning.
It's been gloomy here on the east, the northeast.
Yes.
Let me tell you, and every morning I have never seen so many days with this intense fog.
Rain.
It's like
yes,
London
that too.
fog.
Yes.
It's London fog in New York City every other morning. And you right now, if you look out, you can't see any of the tops of the buildings.
Well, we don't have fog this morning. Like I went out for a walk yesterday evening, and as I was walking back, like the fog started to come in, especially because I'm on the river. It really rolls in. But like early morning and late at nights, it gets really foggy. So, oh, there we go. Thumbs up.
Yeah, right. Will mine do it? No, it doesn't.
Yeah, but you know, because you're trying to do it. When you don't want to do it,
when I don't want to do it, if I did to do that, then it'll pop up. So let's say hello to some folks. Okay, so guess what, guys? It is. Today is Trend Watch Thursday, and then we just talk about the headlines, what's going on. I have a bunch of stuff that I've saved and put aside for you guys, and there's a lot in the news, and so there we have it. So you great photographers out there, this is also for you. Always remember that this platform is for you, creatives. Okay, so anyway, let's say hello to some folks, and I see in the building. Hannah is in the building as always.
Number one.
Good morning,
number
Ron.
one slot.
She's the gold medalist. She's the gold medalist. Hannah says, "Good morning, Ron and Chris and Touch Base Daily family." And look who's early, all the way from the West Coast, Mr. West Coast himself, Derek T. Tuggle at Ron Foster, Chris Edwards. Good morning. Antonio gets the bronze. Look at that. Good morning, Antonio. Anthony Rowland is in the building. Lisa is in the building. Morning, everyone, she says. And I see also Mr. Bryson is in the building as well. He says, "What's up, Ron? What's up, Chris? What's up, Touch Base Daily family? What's up, everybody? Happy Law and Order Thursday. One more day before the weekend." Yes. That's it.
Honestly, these weeks are flying by.
It's already mid-May.
We're almost halfway through the year. Like this has been a tumultuous year.
Woo,
it feels like a decade that we've aged.
I was just meeting with one of my networking groups here for it's called the Fort Greene Associate at one time, and now it's just a connection. We connect. And we haven't gotten together. Well, I haven't gotten together with them in a while, but we met at a restaurant not too far from here. And so I was able to pop in and hang out with them. And we had such a great conversation. Everyone is in transition. People are moving, people are renting their homes out, selling their apartments, changing this, changing that, going with new jobs, going overseas.
Yeah.
I have not seen so much volatility in people's lives like I'm seeing in this year.
Well, I think people are unsure, and when you're unsure, you tend to try to make some moves so that you can stabilize yourself a little bit. They want to change things up, and then also they want to do things before, because no one knows what's going to happen in the future. We're living in a day-by-day situation. No one can really plan for the future the way we traditionally have. You can't plan out to make purchases like you have in the past, because you don't know if it's, today's price is going to be tomorrow's price, and if today's price is the best price, or so there's a lot of volatility for real.
Well, that's why I went out and bought my watch on a loan.
Come on, Apple Watch.
On a loan.
So hold on now. You are completely converted now. You got the laptop, the desktop, the phone. Yes. Oh, you think the iPad? That's the only thing
I don't have is an iPad. I told my cousin. He goes, and I will be on the lookout for one. I could not have done this without my cousin. My cousin has been, I mean, listen, no, one of my cousins works for Apple. And so he has made this all possible. I mean, saving money here and there has been amazing. And every dollar counts. And tell you,
the one thing that I think you're going to benefit from is the longevity of these devices, because the majority of people, when you go to Best Buy and buy like back in the day it was like a Chromebook, and you get a cheap laptop, you're replacing it every 2 to 3 years if you're lucky.
Every 2 to 3 years.
Whereas now you can have a MacBook Pro for 7 to 10 years.
Yes.
You can have an Apple Watch for 5 to 10 years. Like
the guys at the store, I was talking to them, and some of them said they've had their watches for 10, 12 years.
Listen to me.
What?
I still have my Series 0 watch.
Series 0?
Yeah, so the original Apple Watch, they call it Series 0.
Wow, did not know that.
Yeah, because they didn't start numbering them until after the second one came out. So they called it Series 0. So now that was, gosh, I don't remember how many years ago that was, but I still have it. Now I don't wear it as much. The battery will last a few hours. You're not going to get an all day thing out of it, but it's nice to be able to, like, say I decide I want to change up what I'm wearing, I can throw that on. This is the Ultra, the first Ultra. I've had this one for 3 or 4 years now. I think it's 3 years since it's been out.
Wow.
And I can go all day with this. As a matter of fact, I slept with this on last night. And
I always sleep with mine because mine monitors my sleep.
Yeah. I have 36% still left. I can probably get 3/4 of the way through the day. If I don't do anything, if I'm just like stagnant at home today, I can probably go until tonight. Yeah. But I'm gonna go out for a workout. I'm gonna go out for a workout later, and that tends to, you're using a lot of calculations and processing power. So that's why I'll have to charge before then. But all their devices last a long time. Yeah. And I like a big watch.
Anthony Rowland says, the shoot went well yesterday, but now I'm sweating it out to see if the client is happy with the photos.
I hate that.
Oh, Antonio, they're happy. They're happy. They're happy. Oh,
yes.
First thing in the
Come on now.
Thank you, Hannah.
Hannah's
using that dollar bill at the bottom of the comment box. Woo!
She is dropping it like it's hot.
She dropped it like it's hot. She says, to your Apple Watch, Ron.
Yes. Now you can go get that's money towards the band.
Well, no, that's for the protective screen that I just ordered last night. That's for the screen I'm gonna put on.
Nice.
You got to protect the face.
They're actually very strong. I bang mine up against stuff, and I've never tried this.
I'm a banger though. I'm a real banger. I can't walk through my house without banging my arm against the walls. I'm that guy.
Okay.
Thank you, Hannah. That was so sweet of you. And you guys are now using that little button lately. I mean, you guys are making use of it.
Come on now, drop the dollars. Drop the dollars.
It's like I should be doing
there you go.
I'm your private dancer. Dancer for
This
money.
is not that type of show. You can do that. You can do it in the After Dark show that you got.
Yes, that's After Dark.
Play games and drop dollars.
Jazzy says, I always tell people, don't get an iPad unless you actually really need one. Wow.
That's true of any electronics. Don't buy it just for fad or just to say you have it. Yeah. See where it fits into your lifestyle and your productivity, honestly.
And Bryson, who's an Android like Gwendolyn, we've got Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge just announced, and it will be available on May 23rd. And it's thin and has 512 gigabytes of memory.
That's their new phone. It's going to be the competitor to the iPhone Slim when it comes out in September. It's razor thin. There are some downsides and draws to it, but like I said, it just depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah, it depends on what you're used to.
one less camera on it, less battery, but that thinness and lightness is what people want. And then it's social status. So
I like big watches and big phones. And anyway, that's just me. Roland and Mr. Roland says, I love my Google Pixel watch. Hannah's laughing. She's laughing at me going crazy over here. And Lisa's laughing as well. And yes, that's me. Bryson says, I'll be getting Google Pixel 9A.
Okay. So we've got a good mix of Android and iPhones in the house.
And since we're talking Android, I think I hear the doorbell. I hear the doorbell because I think I heard the steps of an Android queen.
Oh, come on,
She's
queen.
At the door. The Android queen is at the door.
They got that expensive bell.
She's at the door. I heard her. I saw her coming up the. Here she goes. Gwendolyn, hello.
Good morning.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Wednesday, I'm multitasking. I'm just, getting into some news. I was like, what, girl? So yes, hello, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning. You look bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, as they say.
Yes, the Android queen is in the building.
Come on, get up.
I got up this morning. I got my 5 miles in.
Come on, 5 miles.
Drinking my Sport Pedialyte to replenish. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not gonna jump in. Okay, I'm gonna jump into this conversation.
I know you want to, because I know you're the Android queen.
Ron is always like,
you are going to go there.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw my private message, but I don't. It just could be how Ron does stuff. My stuff lasts forever. I mean, I'm still rocking my S8 Plus over here for content, and what have you, and my watches. So, but
I saw the private message. We'll keep it private. We'll keep it in the private message.
No, I'm excited. I was telling Ron yesterday.
You're making him blush.
I will not let that one out the bag.
I'm just saying.
Oh yes, honey. Yes, honey.
I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the Fold 7. Waiting for the Fold 7.
My t-shirt.
We shall see what happens. Ron, are you okay, sir? Are you all right?
I am fine.
I think you hit a note of truth then in the private chat.
Yes, you did. You hit a grain of truth.
We will leave it there.
I'm just saying. So yes, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to it. I was telling Ron yesterday. Okay, so I am not a first generation tech person. I'm just not that.
She taught me that.
Right? So when I saw that they were creating the folds, I was at the Samsung A37 in New York City. I was like, ooh, that's really cute. I took pictures, but I'm going to wait because you got bugs and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't do Gen 1. I didn't do Gen 2. I did do Gen 3. So I jumped on the 3 and I was like, oh, this is nice. And then I got the 4. Oh, this is even better. My husband got the 5 and then I got the 6. Have never had an issue, but within 6 months, my interior screen stopped working.
Ooh.
And I was hot, like fish grease. I was like,
fish grease is hot.
Ooh, fish grease is hot.
And I was going on vacation. So I was literally leaving that night to drive to Houston. So I was like, when I get back, I'll take care of it. But then I thought, well, it's the holidays. I'm not getting holiday traffic. It's not that serious for me. It's just not. And so here it is, May. I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe I'll just buy a new one because I know you can get phones fixed. I don't fully understand that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't get
But wait, you haven't had it for a year. Why wouldn't they just go and I don't know anything about
that, Chris. We don't have no time for that conversation.
Okay.
Well, and this is why I left Samsung.
And this is why iPhones work for me. Like
service.
you just go in there and they swap it out.
I get why Ron says what he says. I want to make sure we clear this up, right?
Yes.
Because there is a history. So it's not like my 3 gave me problems, my 4 gave me problems. Like I had my 4 for 2 years because of the color. I buy things based on color. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, she has
because they had a cute
when she
color.
first started her photography business, I was one of her first portraits that she did, like on the legit, and she came to the house, had the lights and everything. Then she whips out this red camera. Who owns a red camera? I said,
someone who loves the color
I
red.
was like, G is no one can compare to her. She took out a Canon red camera.
It had a sleeve on it. I have to protect my investment. but with that said though, so I do things based on color, right? So I skipped the 5. There was nothing cute. They had pink. I was like, oh, I love pink. So I got the 6. So this is the first time I've ever had an issue because I don't buy phones just to buy a phone. Like I will have a phone for 4 or 5 years because it goes 4 or 5 years. Like I said, I got an S8 Plus that works just fine. Right? My watches, I gave my watches away because, I get a new watch. So I believe across the board in terms of technology, and let's just add in there home appliances, they all have a certain life, right? They all have a certain life. And if you do things well, like your car or anything else, they will do what they're supposed to do. Now, they're not like they were back in the day when you had like a Zenith TV that had all the junk in the trunk that would go for like decades. They're not built like that.
Yeah.
Had an issue. So having,
but you know what? Here's the thing, Gwendolyn. With these companies, all it takes is for you to have one incident and the company not treat you right for you to get turned off completely.
That is true. I haven't had that yet. And keep in mind, this is when you call people who have like what matters to them. Yes, my interior screen is broken. So you would think, oh, I'm going to go back to a candy bar style phone. That is a no. Could I go to Pixel? Yeah, but I don't find it very attractive. That's just me.
You know what you like.
That is a no.
You know what you like. And that's why
I know what I like. So I'm going to go with the 7.
When I was in the Apple store yesterday.
Yeah.
And the gentleman, he says, so I was asking him questions. I said, how long you been with the company? He's like 4 years. And we just start talking. And I said, you really like working for Apple. And then he gave me, I said, what do you love most about working for Apple? And then he gave me the list of things he loves. Then I talked to his colleague, and his colleague worked for the Apple store for 18 years. And I said, wow, what do you like? Why do you like working here? He said, I love working with the people. I love helping customers. And went through the whole list. And he's like, I love our customer service. I like how we try to make our customers happy. And that's our policy. And we just go on because I was uploading my updates on my phones to be able to take on this new watch. And we were talking about customer service. And then I said, well, I am a big, if there's anything I respect about retail, is customer service. If you do not give good customer service, I will not be your customer. And I was sharing about me being a visual merchandiser at the Container Store, how we had amazing customer service. We were the top company in the country on the Fortune list and all that stuff. But once we got rid of some of our basic practices, and we lost that beauty of customer service, then we start losing dollars. We start losing customers because people will come to your store, even though across the street is cheaper. And I'm saying it's exactly how it was. Yeah. Bed Bath & Beyond had some of the same products we had. They were cheaper, $5, $10 cheaper. But people came to the Container Store because of us.
Yep.
The people giving them customer service. And you cannot go wrong if you are a business owner and you give ultimate customer service. And so we were talking. I said, so when Samsung messed up 2 years ago in 23, October, I won't forget it. I will never forget it.
He sounds scorned.
October 23, I was traumatized by Samsung. And I've been a Samsung person from the beginning. But once they put me out to the pastures, when that dude went like this, next, and didn't even acknowledge, are you okay? Is everything fine? And I know that's based on one person, but that's not the first.
Yeah, but that's a representative of the company.
Pattern, and I could not understand. You came out with a watch 2 years ago, and now you don't have parts for it. I'm like, what? Apple, my friend Elise gave me an Apple Watch because she was like, Ron, you need a watch. She gave me her old watch. It is an old watch. It was like what they call the 6 series, the 6th generation of the watch. And that baby worked like it. I love it. It's still in my bag from, it's still in the bag from yesterday. I want customer service. I want product longevity.
Yeah.
I should have to update and because Gwendolyn and I, now we have this in common. We do not upgrade unless we need to. My only reason why I got this phone is because my other phone had reached the bottom of its bottom. I could not see anything. The colors were wrong. It was.
And as a photographer, you need to see colors.
I need to see colors as a photographer. So, and I was like, so customer service though is my. Once I lose the customer service, I'm done. I'm gone.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And to be honest with you, a lot of times Apple products aren't any better than other products out there, but it's a part of how the customer service is built into the whole entire experience.
It's the experience. From
the moment you walk into the door until the day that you decide that, all right, it's time to upgrade, they treat you so well. And I've had so many positive experiences. Now, granted, I've had maybe one negative experience, but I know that that's not a reflection of the entire company. It was a reflection of that person. And to be honest with you, maybe I caught that person on a bad day.
On a bad day or bad hour.
Maybe they shouldn't have been at work for that moment. But overall, like I've gone in, I've had products that have been out of warranty, and they're like, well, listen, it's technically it's out of warranty, but let me see what we can do. They go in the back and they come back and they're like, you know what? We can't give you a replacement for free, but what we'll do is we'll give you a credit towards a new phone. And I mean, you pay going in, most times that you're not going to get a free replacement, but if they can give you a discount, I'll take that. You know what I mean? And a lot of times if you're in your warranty, if something is wrong and they look at it, they'll just say, all right, you know what? Boom. I don't think we're going to be able to repair this. We're just going to give you a new one. And it's not a brand new, typically it's a refurbished item, but it's factory refurbished. Or it might even be that someone bought it, didn't use it and brought it back, but they still have to technically call it refurbished because someone did return it even though it wasn't used. And it's brand new. It comes in the box, shrink wrapped with the full warranty and everything. And you walk out the store feeling like, well, damn, I feel like I just got a new phone, even though I've had this thing for 6 months and something went wrong. I remember once I got a bad screen. After about 2 months, the screen just fritzed out and died. I brought it back. They said they didn't ask me anything. They looked it up on my account. They saw that it was in warranty. I only bought it 2 months ago. They said, all right, well, hold on. They went back and got me a new phone. No questions asked. That's what
I love about them.
They said, we're sorry that this happened to you. Enjoy your phone.
Yeah.
That's the type of service that I want. You're paying premium money for these products. I want premium service.
Well, let's get to the news. I have something I wanted to share real quick. Because this orange man is driving me bonkers. I just want to
know how much time we are going to spend on this.
It's only going to be short because I'm moving. I might move there. And so I'm just like, look, just when you think you had a safe haven in the world, obviously, some of you guys know, when I leave this New York City area, I will most likely kind of be hanging out. I always said I would go back to South Africa to live. And I was like, doggone, this man can't leave no one alone. I mean, he is picking all kinds of problems with South Africa. Now, South Africa called him out on his craziness. There is no genocide going on in South Africa. And the white citizens are saying it too. So it's not like, it's just the black president saying it. No, there is no genocide. And if you were concerned about genocide, you can look no further than the Gaza Strip. Now that you can call genocide, but you cannot call some rich white folks that are apartheid associated and have means to be chartered out of the country to America
and
now may take land from our own white farmers and black farmers. Well, anyway, let me share what this little moron is doing now. But I have to tell you, this is why I love Africa. Africa, I don't know if you guys have been seeing the news over the last year, but Africa is stepping up to the moment. all of the countries. And they are saying we are done with colonization. We are done with the remainders and the reminders of colonization. They've been changing street signs. They've been changing their highway names. They've been changing their building names. They've been kicking them out. They've been kicking them out all these places. But the G20 is supposed to be in South Africa, in Cape Town. I do believe it's Cape Town. And this, there's just no words to describe. But anyway, I just wanted to just show this. Was on Instagram since we're doing Trim Watch. South Africa's colonizers never left, and we have never chased them away, says the president. Says the president of the country, right? They still own most of the land in South Africa. They still have the unemployment is so low. 46% among Black people, the Africans, and then for the white population is 9% for unemployment. Think about that. 9% unemployment and they are going through some times in South Africa, but 9% for white people and 46% for Black people in their own country, South Africa. President Cyril Ramaphosa has publicly criticized a group of 59 white South Afrikaners who were granted asylum in the United States under the Trump administration. They are cowards, he says. Instead of staying to help us rebuild and address the deep inequalities in our country, they chose to run away.
Please welcome to the stage as well His Excellency Paul Kagame, President of Rwanda.
President Cyril Ramaphosa and his Rwandan counterpart, President Paul Kagame, are sitting side by side. There has been a standoff between Kigali and Pretoria over the conflict in the eastern DRC. While this is not the first time the two leaders are under one roof here and sharing a platform, the elephant in the room is the current development of the 49 white Afrikaners left for the U.S. under Trump's administration refugee program.
We've raised our own concern because those people who are being enticed to go to the United States do not fit the definition of a refugee. A refugee is someone who has to leave their country out of fear of political persecution, religious persecution. They don't fit that bill. They don't fit that description. And I had a conversation with President Trump on the phone, and he said, what's happening down there? And I said, President, what you've been told by those people who are opposed to transformation back home in South Africa is not true. And I added to him, I said, we were well taught by Nelson Mandela and other iconic leaders like Oliver Tambo on how to continue to build a united nation out of the diverse groupings that we have in South Africa. We're the only country on the continent where the colonizers came to stay, and we have never driven them out of our country. So they are staying, and they're making persecution. They don't fit that bill. So they are staying, and they're making great progress. It's a fringe grouping that does not have a lot of support, that is anti-transformation and anti-change. That would actually prefer to see South Africa going back to apartheid type of policies.
Ramaphosa has used his working visit in Côte d'Ivoire to highlight that South Africa wants to have a successful G20.
We participate with a number of countries, and the US also participates, and leading to that summit where we will, as South Africa, hand over to the United States. One would hope that it will all happen seamlessly and in an ordinary and well-managed manner. So we will see how this whole process will end up.
The current conflict.
Oops, sorry about that.
So they are staying, and they're
President Trump cited alleged genocide against white farmers and concerns over land exportation without compensation as justification for the asylum offers, which does not exist. I will continue to say it does not exist. And all the numbers in the stats in the world news information places and also from South Africa itself, these people are just leaving because they got the offer to leave. And they are part of apartheid background, apartheid life of living. And again, for those that are asleep at the steering wheel here in America, there is a reason why he's bringing these people here. Because they want to bring America more into alignment with apartheid. Just saying. If you're not seeing what's going on, it's the same format that happened as South Africa fell into apartheid. It's a genocide. White farmers are being brutally killed and their land is being confiscated. No, it's not. And here they are. So anyway, what do you guys think about that? I'm just saying.
It's all bullshit. All bullshit. All he's trying to do is bring. Notice he is illegally not even deporting, but kidnapping Black and brown people and putting them in other countries where they have no connection to other people, and then bringing in white people from South Africa. It's they're good people, so we're going to bring them
on the
in.
Wall. Think about that.
I mean, it's clear. I mean, this man is so transparent; it's not even funny.
Gwendolyn?
I have no thoughts about it. I am very particular about where I put my energy. Things of this nature, I give it no play.
Gotcha.
Like, I get the news and I understand being, engaged, and it's like, hey, great. Here, I heard about it. I'm over it. It's like, can we get on to something else? Because there's always something else. Like there is 5,000 something else's. So I don't give it energy. I don't really care.
And it's a distraction.
Yes, it's a distraction. I have no room for distraction. So I have nothing to say.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I bring this up because, again, this is a part of a systematic movement that's happening in our country. Again, you see the elimination of all of the Black experts, everyone that has had amazing credentials in the military, Library of Congress. It goes on and on and on, and have been replaced by white mediocre. They don't have anything to offer, anything that they're leading.
They're not even mediocre. I mean, they have no credentials. They have nothing.
You can't even say mediocre.
They are.
Horrible.
I mean, most of the people now that are in the government come from Fox News. Let it just sink in.
Yeah.
Fox News. Excuse me, Fox Entertainment, because it's not news. Let's be for real. They're not journalists.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my thought. Any other headline you guys wanted to talk about? I just wanted to bring that up, but because it was something that was in the news. It's trending big time online. And I said, that was something that was fascinating.
If I may.
Yes.
When we say it's trending in the news, these are the people who are complicit with talking about things that really shouldn't get as much play as it does, right? And the way that they craft the story, it is very well skewed a certain way. Like, we all know that the people who have lost their jobs are experts in their fields, and they're being replaced by people who have no background whatsoever, which is why they're like, well, this is meritocracy. This is not meritocracy. Like, let's just cut that out. But when you're talking to the choir, it's like, I don't understand why we keep saying the same thing when the people who need to understand it are not in this space. Like, they're not here. The fact of the matter is that if you can have a person who clearly has no background, like you got a lady who's like, an influencer who didn't get her medical license. You got a guy who don't believe in vaccines. You got a dude who has who knows what over the Library of Congress interim. It's like, so what's the whole point? Is if you don't want to recognize what is very, very clear in your face, then it's like, okay, so I'm just wasting my breath on what? Like, I get stuck there because we all see it. Like we get it. I understand it. But this has always been the thing. This is not something new. It's just very in our face. Think about all the times you have worked someplace, you have done some job, you have been asked to train somebody because you didn't have the qualifications for the job, but they brought in somebody else and had you train them. This is not
new. I know that's right.
This is not new for us. So I'm like,
I don't do the training. You want to try to replace me? You figure that out on your own.
Right? Right? So we have always seen it. So now it's blatantly out there. And so the question really becomes the people who want to believe that they have this superior something. You have someone with like black and white words of what someone has as a qualification and what someone doesn't have. And now you put them side by side. And it's like asking a child, which one is the orange? You're like, yeah. I go back to why are we still talking about this? Because it's not like it's something.
So can I interject real quick? Because I want to throw something else in the mix. And because this is very a popular thing that's being talked about right now. Has to do with him. And then also, this is the one thing that is turning Republicans and people that voted for him against him now. The fact that he wants to accept this $400 million plane. Like, seriously, this is the thing that got y'all pissed off?
But they're not pissed.
But they're not.
But they're not.
No, but they're the one. They're actually out there. They're talking. They're talking about it now and saying that, oh, this is not right. And but like, out of all the things, like this is the thing that has got you up in arms.
You can talk about a lot of stuff. You know what it is? You know how they say stop talking about it and be about it? I need to be about it. They have the House, they have the Senate. If they wanted to do something, they could do something. Stop talking about it and be about it. Otherwise, what is the point? Because it's a performance. I don't need your performance. I need you to get out there and do something.
And this Congress has done nothing.
Show me something. Put some action behind it. Otherwise, you being upset and getting on TV and do your 15 seconds. Well, I just can't believe he's going to do that. And it'll just all work out. You ain't did nothing.
They've done nothing in the last 4 months. Nothing.
They have
no legislation. Nothing. They bring these heads of these departments up to the Hill and they ask them questions. They don't show up with their homework. The FBI director did not show up with the budget for the year. Kennedy doesn't even know what departments some of the programs are being run and don't even realize that his family set up some of these programs when they're asking him. It's just like, how fucking incompetent are you people? The one job you have, you don't even have the knowledge to speak on it. Like, but yet, so you fired all the black people that were qualified, that were overly qualified.
Yeah, because if you're in those positions, you're overly qualified.
Yeah, it's never been about us being qualified.
No,
and I want to segue into this before we get to Lisa's comment because I want to talk about that too.
I want to talk about that too. Yeah,
I want to talk about us taking up space, and so that is what's that guy's name? Thomas? Is it Thomas Price? Is that his name? The sculptor with the black lady in Times Square. Is that his name?
I think I don't remember his name, but I know what you're talking about.
So. And this is all related to, I'm going to stick on black women because that's my mindset this month. It was telling for me to read comments about this black woman taking up space, but they were so disgusting, but they came from black men and black women. First of all, I'm going to say this really quick for all the men watching. There is never a place for a man of any ethnicity to talk about a woman's beauty. Full stop. It does not exist. Don't nobody care what you like. Don't nobody care what you want to see. It does not exist. So one guy put out this idea that the sculpture should have looked like some chick from Wakanda, which of course he got dragged for. So just don't do it. It's just not. There's never a place for a guy to talk about a woman's beauty. Now you and your chick or whomever have at it, but just don't do it. But the women who said she looked like she was disheveled, she was a Section 8 mama, she's a mammy, she's got baby daddies. And one lady said, if you can look at this statue and not be disturbed, you should look on the inside. And all I could see was just
What's the name of the statue?
I don't know the name of the statue.
It's in Times Square.
It's in Times Square. It's in Times Square right now.
Have you not gone to see it?
No, not yet.
But it just gave classism and this huge elitist attitude that how dare this Black woman, the average size woman, take space. And there is this sort of like white supremacy Negro mindset that I don't want the white people to see me not at my best. But these are the people, these Black people look at these Black people and say they don't deserve to be honored. That how dare she come in here? How dare she be valued as if, as one woman said, well, how come you couldn't do like a Kamala Harris or Michelle Obama? Black women are tired. Okay, we are tired. And there are so many Black women who are raising their households. They are doing all the jobs. You need to have a statue like that to show you what's going on. We don't need to have a snatch gut and a BBL.
But that's not realistic.
They're like, it's like, cut that out. Cut it out.
This is the sculpture. I remember passing by on it. A 12-foot bronze sculpture titled Grounded in the Stars, created by British artist Thomas Price, is on display at Times Square Plaza, a Broadway and 46th Street in New York City. Michael Hull photograph.
I don't see anything wrong with this. To be in spaces. But I just found it disheartening that so many Black women had this idea that this kind of woman should be tossed to the side and should not be acknowledged, as if her existence is just like, oh my God.
Well, here's my thing though too, and this is what I find so wrong with social media. Just because you can say it does not mean you have to say it. Keep your mouth shut. Don't nobody give a shit what you think, because I'm sure if we saw you, we can make some comments.
Everybody has flaws.
I see that part, but you know what? I believe it's good for us to say out loud, because how do you fix this community when there are some of us who are still toe tapping for people who hate us? I mean, like, we talk about sisterhood and we can bring up Lisa's comment, and how do you get there when you are still taking on this patriarchy mindset that it's the woman's fault that it happened? It's your fault that this happened to you. It's the same thing where you have this good girl mindset of, well, good girls don't do this. And if you got pregnant, well, something happened. This is on you. Or if you were assaulted, then what did you wear? What did you say? It's like, why are we still doing that? But we can't get there until someone opens their mouth and we can have a very upfront conversation with, please tell me where you got that from.
I mean, it's the same thing with the conversation we talked about when Felicia Rashad that was talking about the girls. Now, I had to bring it up since you brought it up, since you went there. And, there's a generation of folks see the world in a different way, and it was acceptable to say those things in that world. But today is a different world, and people need to be accepted for who they are, and not judged by your standards of your grandmama.
You want me to?
Go ahead, Gwendolyn. This is
all
yours.
Right. Okay, so
this is your baby, because I know.
All right, so I literally have a video sitting on my desk because I just can't seem to hit that button. Whenever I think about the comments that Felicia Rashad made and other women like her, it angers me because I get that they come from a place where a woman was seen as property, right? And Black women were definitely like tossed to the side. So if you were assaulted in your home, especially in the South, they could care less. They don't care. It's like, whatever. So now we're here where women have rights. We can own our car. We can have our own education, have our own money. And more importantly, we own our bodies and our presence. When Janelle Monáe comes out and does what she does it for herself. We're not getting dressed for a man. We're not trying to get chosen because we choose ourselves. We do what we want to do for ourselves. If I want to go out here, ass and titties out, I can do that. Now, my husband would probably be like, man, but we are no longer in the place of, I need to get this man's attention to be seen as worthy. Those days are over. And so for the women who keep bringing that narrative along and want to shame people, you know what? Y'all about to kiss some hands, like real talk, because we are over it. Those days are gone. They need to go away. Women are not property. Cassie was abused. She shouldn't have to prove that she was abused. She shouldn't have to prove that. Like, that's so ridiculous. Even when they talk about what happened to her, it makes it, they frame it as if she's the reason why it happened. Not that that's sick. I almost said something. That guy has the problem. He has the problem. He is the problem. But the news does not frame it that way. It's not framed that way. It's always the victim, right? Things that happen to the woman versus there are some really disgusting men in this world.
Yes.
And have always been. We talk about trans persons, people of a trans experience. I have never felt threatened by anybody who was trans. Never. But you get a group of men someplace and you're thinking, can I just walk past them and not get a catcall and not get something else said to me? Or even when they say, well, you know, if you smile, you would be cuter. We have so much work to do. So much work on both sides because there are women who are part of the problem as well as men.
Well, again, a lot of times it's women that there's an amazing hate for other women. I mean, that's just something that just comes with the territory. I mean, think about, they said how many people hated Hillary. It wasn't the men that hated.
It was the women.
Women.
The women hated her so violently.
But you know, though, I think this is part of it, and I'm just generalizing.
Yes.
Women tend to hate other women that are doing better than themselves, and that's something that is taught as little kids. I was listening to the Views Behind the Table yesterday. They had Jamila, I forget her last name. She's an actress, but she was talking about how young boys and young girls, how they are mentally abused into these stereotypes. Like little boys, they grow up being emasculated as men because they're taught they're not supposed to show their feelings. And then, you know, it's not even women that are doing it, it's men emasculating young boys, not allowing them to have those feelings and to be them true selves. Young girls are being you are being torn down, saying that you need to fit in, you need to be gentle and kind, and not allowing themselves to be themselves. So, you know, all the things you're seeing now with all these adults, these things were done to us as kids by other adults. You know what I mean? When they're saying it's all signs of abuse. It might not be physical, they're mental, but they have scars, and you take them with you as a child into your adulthood. So all the things you're seeing now, you know, let me tell you something. All the things you're seeing on the Republican side, on Trump, whatever, it's all stems from abuse from and indoctrination from when they were little.
Yeah,
it really is, because when we're all born, we're born with empathy. We're born to love one another and just to be around other people. Because here's the thing, we need other people to survive.
Right.
There have been studies, when you isolate people, they die at a faster rate. That's why I always say,
they're less healthy. They're less healthy.
Right. You're less healthy. You need to be around people to socialize, because we're sociable people. And when you start to break down those social aspects of individuals, this is when you start to get the hate and the bigotry and the misogyny and all those other things. Yeah. So
let's go to Lisa's statement, because this is really, I mean, this is where, I mean, this is something, and you and Gwilyn just brushed across it and said something about it. Lisa says, well, I have been getting pissed at how many people are dogging Cassie, and the amount of women is ridiculous. If you have never been a victim of DV, you should keep quiet.
So, you know what?
And that tape, I know, before you go there, though, I don't know How many people saw? They have the
Everyone has seen it.
7-minute
Everyone has seen it.
7-minute version of the
I don't
tape
want
that came out yesterday through TMZ that was
Oh,
released
this is another
because
one.
of the court case. And you
Is this a
see,
different one?
oh no, this is the snippet one that you saw from CNN is now the one that they have a 7-minute version of the full footage. And they also have from different cameras at the hotel, different angles. And also one of the but again, this woman, Cassie, we don't know her background. We don't know what caused her to be in a place where she allows certain things to happen, but also we don't know the extent of her trauma, that the fear of running away or the fear of stopping this. I mean, first of all, one thing I have to say about her, if you didn't look at the transcripts, she shared everything in detail of what was going on with the being taken advantage of, the abuse, the verbal, the sexual, the beating. She went into all of the details. But again, for all these people to paint her as the villain is kind of crazy. It's like this woman is being abused. And I've had friends. I've had a couple of friends. Their husbands did the worst to them. And they couldn't leave because they had children. And they needed to, there was so many levels of complications. You can't just pop up and just leave. So people are being abused. People say, "Oh, how do they stay in that situation?" You don't know the whole situation. And to blame the victim is the insanity.
And this is why women don't come forward. But go ahead, G.
G, I know she can better verbalize this than I can. I can tell you that.
Here's how I'm going to verbalize it. Chris says abuse and indoctrination. I'm going to say indoctrination and programming, because young girls are programmed at a very young age to be submissive and to be serving, right? Yep. You'll be a great mother. Here's a baby doll, and here's how you cook this. And so you are given this at a very young age, and it's just put in you that you're going to want to have kids. You're going to be great. Right. So fast forward to when you meet the person, and let's also add some other messaging in here that, oh my God, he hit you. That's because he likes you.
That's some bullshit.
Remember that in school? And I know we've all heard it.
We heard that. We did hear that.
This guy hits you, pushes on you, whatever. It's probably because he likes you.
He has a crush on you.
And we just roll with it. Like, that's a sign of affection. Right. Now, I'm a extremely intelligent chick. Met a dude, thought he was the best thing since sliced bread. And somewhere in there, I can't even tell you how it happened because it was so smooth. But he was verbally abusive to the point where I was doing things, changing my hair, dressing a certain way. And I can't even explain how I got into it. Have no idea how it happened. Even when I was going to school in New York, I almost decided not to go. Almost. And he was like, nope, you should go. I don't want you to blame me if you're not happy, yada, yada, yada. And it was only after I got out of my circle. Now, mind you, my parents knew him, but I never told them anything he said to me. Like, he wouldn't hold my hand because I worked in retail. As far as he was concerned, my hands were too rough. So you need to figure that out. I could not walk beside him. I walked behind him. I was spending money I didn't have to get him clothes, shoes, music, books. I can't tell you how I got it. When I look back, I think to myself, you do things to keep him happy. And if buying things make him happy, then he's happy. And therefore he loves you, right? These are the things we tell ourselves. And then you get outside of that circle and you start looking back and saying, this little raggedy Negro, I don't understand why I'm still here. Like, I'm not getting it, but it didn't end there. We're talking when I was in New York, Ron, 2006. right?
Mhm.
Dating a man in New York. This guy pops up out of nowhere and says, I want to come to New York. I want you to show me around. You would think being apart and no longer dating this guy, I would be like, no. Do you know I went to my boyfriend and said, are you okay if he comes and I show him around? And he was like, well, if you want to.
What? Well, hold on. Pause.
Now I want y'all, but before you go there, Chris, I want we are a community here. Y'all know Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn's a tough cookie. She is tough.
Yeah.
But again, here she is telling her story. That how she was in a position trying to please someone that didn't respect her, didn't think of her first, didn't care, but yet she did everything to make this relationship of what the kind that it was to work, to make him happy, because like she says, being groomed and we're taught certain things and not saying certain things, not speaking up, not standing up for ourselves. Gwendolyn's giving y'all truth.
Yeah.
And it can happen. I mean,
It can happen to anyone.
It can happen to anybody. And
I just didn't believe it.
That's a perfect example.
He was cheating on me when I was still in school, like at FIT. I got dumped through an email of all the things, right? And I was like, so we are separated, but he found me. This is 2006. I'm dating somebody else. And yet still there was this mental hold. I cannot explain it. So he ended up not coming. He changed his mind. And I remember him sending me an email saying, if you can't email me with like a real message, then just stop talking to me. Because I don't like these chain letters. I don't like this. And there, I was going through my transition of finding my voice. And you know how they tell you, like, your counselor says, write the letter, but don't send it. Right. But get your words out, get your feelings out on paper. So I did that exercise, but I sent that bitch. I was like, we are stopping this. We are stopping it. And it just over time.
So that's the thing though. We're all, as you said, programmed to be like this, and it takes that courage. And I think this is what people need to realize. Cassie had the courage to step out and say, this is what happened to me. She knew she was going to get dragged, but she had to do it. And there's other things that go along with it. But then here's the thing. She was the catalyst for the floodgates opening for everyone to see who the fuck he really was. Because let's just be very clear. Diddy is a disgusting human being. What he did to this woman and to everyone else around him. Because here's the thing. He was blackmailing a lot of people. And this is someone that he said that he loved. What he did to this woman, what he had done to this woman, had other people do to this woman, and you got women out there dragging them. How dare you? It's one thing for a man to do, but when a woman does it to another woman, knowing damn well this is what he really did, and other women confirmed it, shame on you.
Yeah, I see it as a result of patriarchy, right? Like there are people who are still in the programming. So there's a reason why I speak the way I speak. There's a reason why my attitude is the way it is. It takes a lot to let go of what you have been programmed from a kid. It takes a lot to finally find your voice, define what beauty is for you, and then stand in it. Like that's a process.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't get here overnight. And do some things pop up here and there? Some things pop up here and there. But again, I have a husband, a partner who recognizes that and allows me to just sort of take my time to get through it. Now, I'm not where I was in 2006, right? So when I see things, I am empathetic because highly intelligent chick. We are not like, oh, I'm just out here, whatever. It's the smoothest thing. There is this subtle breakdown of self-esteem and worth, and it gets in your head. It's smooth. Now, there was nothing ever physical from this guy, but it doesn't
doesn't
change
matter.
how
Verbal
how you're
abuse
impacted.
is those scars
still
can go
there.
deeper than the,
Yeah.
the
Yes,
physical.
because physical scars will heal relatively fast. Emotional scars will last a
A
lifetime,
lifetime.
especially if you bury them deep down, because it will manifest itself and bubble itself to the surface in some form or fashion eventually. We never know when it's going to come out, but it will come out. It will come out.
It always does. But there are women who are misogynists.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to Anthony has said Stockholm syndrome is a real thing. Yes, it's true. That's definitely Stockholm syndrome. Like you know, they're victims. They are victims. And when you have someone who you think that you love that is so there to protect you, and they do all these things to you, you think that, all right, well, I guess I deserve this. This is the type of treatment I deserve. And I need to do these things to keep this person happy. And I don't want this person to hit me anymore. And you know what? Who's going to believe me if I say that, oh, he's doing this to me? You know, that is a story that is said over and over and over and over and over again. I know people like this. I've known people like this. And here's the thing, and this is so true. You can't tell someone who is being abused or a victim of someone else's abuse, they need to get out. Because they cannot see it unless, you know, the only time that they can make a change is when they're ready to make a change. You can be there to support them, but they're not going to make that move until they are ready to. Because here's the thing, something can happen to them and you go in, you pull them out of that situation, they will always find a way to go back until they're ready to not go back.
I've seen it. And
I've seen it.
Gwendolyn told me a lot of this story years ago, and I was like, "Wow!" Because this is, and when Gwendolyn told me this story years ago, I said, "Here's a woman I know personally is a strong woman, carries herself, educated, full of strength, and if it can happen to her, she's one of the people that I was like, wow, this is you know, because a lot of times I know when I was younger, I was like, why do they stay in this relationship? Why do they do this? Why don't they just leave? But
it's not as easy as you think it is.
It's not as easy. And grooming, like Lisa said, that grooming took place for Cassie since she was 17 years old or whatever age she met him. And we don't know all the psychological talk and the badgering and the words, but because for a young girl to mistaken or to feel like this man loves me, but he has me having sex with all these different men and they're doing all kinds of nasty stuff to her, and he's sitting back and enjoying it as they're doing it, that's not love. But in her mind, some way, somehow, it was connected to that this guy loves me, this guy cares about, or whatever it was going through. We don't know what was going through her mind.
Plus, a lot of it has to do with celebrity also. You know, you put these young girls or just young people in these situations where you have people that have power, money, and fame and celebrity, and they're like, well, oh my God, I should just be honored the fact that this person's chosen me to be around them. So whatever they do, I'm just going to stick around because I just want to be in that space. You know what I mean? I want to go back to Bryson's comment because this is something that's constantly in the news. And Halle Bailey just filed a restraining order against her baby's father because he had been abusing her as well.
No.
Yes. And there's a photo. I don't know if she put it out there or someone got their hands on a photo of hand marks on her arm. And you know, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be, you know, Becky from around the corner, or you could be a celebrity. It can happen to anybody. It can happen to anybody.
It happens to men. It happens to men. Hello.
Yes, it does.
Remember, was Liza Minnelli was abusing her husband?
Yeah, you don't see it. If you don't hear about the men, because if a man comes out and says it, then
Oh, you're gay.
People beat on you.
Or you're weak.
Yeah.
But think about our society and the messages that women are given, right? Because I can only talk from that perspective. If you think about the Cosmo, the Elle, Red Book, everything has been about how a woman needs to give up all these things to keep her partner happy.
Yeah.
Right. Even after he steps out and cheats, whatever, it still goes back to how you should fix the marriage. There is never any responsibility given to put on the abuser. We completely toss it to the side. It's like it's the woman's fault because you didn't do this and you didn't do that and you had to do this and it was something you wore, something you said. But that's our society, right?
Yeah.
Like we constantly get that message. Even today, we are still getting that message that it's the woman's fault. And I'm gonna real quick. Let's just use our election season. Right? Forget the fact that you got misogynists and haters and all this other stuff. It's because she didn't go on this podcast. It's because she didn't do this. She didn't say. It is always the woman.
It's always an excuse.
Who didn't go well.
Yeah.
That this runs deep. Like
it runs deep. It is part of our culture. It's part of who we are.
But
as
here,
Americans.
let's be clear. No, it is. It's the majority of it is women. Because think about it. When you look at this world globally, most of the major countries have had other women presidents or women in the higher power and women that are put on a pedestal. It's only America where they look at women and say, nope, you can't be that because, you're too emotional or, we can't have that. Like, that makes absolutely no sense. We're supposed to be the greatest country, quote unquote, on the earth, but yet still, we have not figured out that women run this shit. Yeah. Women are the ones that run the world. I mean, Beyonce said it, couldn't say it any better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Lisa says here, mine was physical either. Financial abuse is also DV as well. Financial and emotional DV is underreported and not taken seriously.
Yep. A lot of times you'll find in those type of relationships, the woman does not have a bank account. The man controls all the money so that they can't leave because they have no financial backing to leave.
That was such an eye-awakening moment for me when I found out that women could not get a bank account until the 70s. I mean, and people say, and then it all came together in my head. It was like, back in the old days, women didn't leave their husbands. Women didn't get a divorce. Women didn't do this. Women didn't go leave that bad man. Why could she couldn't? She couldn't get any money. She couldn't put money away. She had no bank account. Here's
the thing. If she did leave, you know what happened? She ended up having to leave her kids behind because she could not afford to take them with her. And then she is stigmatized and said, she's a unnurturing mother and a bad mother because she left her children. Because she had no choice. Either she's going to stay in that marriage and die or have her kids watch her be abused or leave. They didn't have a choice.
Yep.
And so now we understand why was the divorce rates low in the 50s and the 40s and the 30s. It's because they couldn't go. They had no money. They had no financial abilities.
Yep, no access. Again, the moment that women could get a bike and had access to education and finances and all the things, then it became, no offense, dude, I don't need that vitamin D and your foolishness. I can do that by myself.
Yes.
I don't have to do that, which is why you have this thing where they talk about all these young men who are lonely or whatnot, because women got access and got a different program. Men have never been taught to be real partners and how to show up. They think, well, I'm a dude. I got a little swingy something. That should be suffice. That's not it, partner, because I can go buy that at the store.
Yep.
I don't need
Listen, Lisa, you're hitting it. You're doing it today because she's on. I mean, she's been saying all the right things and putting this information out there. Yeah. In addition to Hallie, he chipped her tooth. What do you have to do to chip somebody's tooth? Okay.
But again, this wasn't just at the elevator that we saw. That's just what got into the public. He's been doing this for,
and that was tame compared to what he actually did to her in private.
Exactly.
And you know what pisses me off too? The hotel had this footage. They sat on it, and no one did anything to help this young woman. No one helped her. So why would she want to come forward and say, this is what's being done to me? Nobody's going to believe me. Nobody wants to help me. We have cameras everywhere. And I'm sure that is not the only footage of her being abused in public. Here's the thing. Diddy did that to her. He abused many other women. And I'm sure there's footage of it elsewhere. You know what? Lisa said, or someone said something about how they feel bad for their kids. I don't know if I feel bad for them, because I'm sure that they probably know that their father was doing this as well.
Oh, yeah. I believe so.
But you know what I mean? You want to hear something? Derek says men are abused as well, but they are ashamed. They are ashamed if they report it to a police. I'll tell you a story. I remember when I first started hanging out in the village. I was in my car one evening, hanging out. It was a summer night. Everybody's moving down through Christopher Street and just kind of just chilling, and the music's going. And this gentleman was on the fence, like right next to my car window, like just hanging out. Really good looking guy, just hanging out there. And he was waiting for hours. I mean, because I was just in the car, just listening to my music, and it was an hour. But then it started to pour. And I was end up talking. I was like, "Hey, dude, are you going anywhere? Because it's pouring." And he said, "No, I gotta wait here for my his friend, and which was his boyfriend." And I said, "Really?" I said, "But you're getting drenched." I said, "You can sit in the car if you want to, it's to get dry." And so he sits in the car. He comes into the car. We talk, and he starts telling me the abuse of his boyfriend. How he was young. His boyfriend was like 20 years older than he was. He had came from Detroit to live in New York. This guy came in and kind of scooped him up and kind of like, "I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to, wine you." And, he's kind of like really gives him all the love and attention. And then, this guy also he finds out this guy now has a drug problem. He's addicted to cocaine, and he's abusive. Now he starts abusing him. Like, for instance, this was my brain was like, I can't, but this is a good looking guy. He could be with anyone in the world and have a happy life. But he was with this guy that was totally abusive, to the fact that when he arrives home every day, whenever he arrives in the door, he has to strip off all his clothes and walk around naked. The man just wanted him it was an older man taking advantage of a younger man. And he says, and then he started to cry. He just bursted out and started crying. And I said, "Is there anything I can do for you? Is there anything I can help you?" I said, "I know some numbers you can call." And, and I try to give as much information. And he broke down and cried about this abuse that he was getting. The guy used to treat him horribly, take away his food if he didn't have sex, and all he was living a life of hell.
That's a slave. That's a slave.
Yeah.
And he was a sex slave. And this guy was a good-looking young man. He had to be maybe 25 at that time, 26 years old at that time. A young man. Then I drive him home. I said, "Okay, you know what?" Because the guy never showed up. I said, "I'm going back to Brooklyn. I'll drive you." So I drove him back to Brooklyn. And he says, "Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you for looking out. Blah, 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 blah." Really nice guy. I run into him again, must be 6 months, 7 months later. And I talked to her, I said, "You need to get out of that relationship. It's not a healthy one." This is when we were in the car. 7 months, 8 months later, I run into him again in the village. I said, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Are you okay? Blah, 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 blah." I said, how are things? Are you still with, are you with the guy? He says, "Yeah, I'm still with him." And I was like, "Dang." in my brain, I was like, "Dang." But as I've gotten older and have listened to so many stories, just like the women that are stuck in these relationships, there are men that are stuck in these relationships. And then there are women that abuse men, which was a shocker when Liza Minnelli was abusing her husband. When that hit, people were like, "What? He's been," and he was destroyed by Liza Minnelli. I mean, so abuse is on all levels, but it's our society. As long as you stay quiet and be down, docile about it all, and don't want to share. Everyone's gone through something, but we cannot judge people for why they're going through it. So, I mean, wow, this was a topic, y'all. This is a topic. What else are you guys saying in the community? Elisa says, also remember, Cassie is Latina, and in the culture, the men are the leaders and women fall in line. Machismo. Derek says, what's really crazy when some women say, I would never let a man abuse me, will end up in an abusive relationship.
Never say never.
Lisa says, Dump wants to bring that back. Women need a man's permission.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do.
Cammy says, unfortunately true, Lisa. Rosemary says, Cassie thought she had the prize celebrity at the time. Huge parties that everyone attended, and his was the clubhouse, and he was placed on such a pedestal as the quintessential party to attend.
Yeah, everybody want to go out to the Hamptons for the white parties.
He had the parties. Yeah. Rosemary says also the hotel covered for him for far too long. Kimmy says his daughters hopeful will learn from their dad's ways.
That's a 50-50.
That's a 50-50. Kimmy says, and his sons. And Bryson says, and before we go, what y'all thought on Chris Brown has been arrested for bottle attack?
No comment.
DJ.
No comment. It's a pattern of behavior.
Yeah, that's it. Kimmy says crazy. And Lisa says, what makes me mad the most is when people get on social media and attack her without facts. Google is your friend. Google her testimony before you say what she said or admitted to or consented to. It's there. And Lisa says also, and Bozy and Chris Brown need not comment anymore about this. We know how y'all get down. That's right. We are not commenting on that one. Lisa says, how long they take to come out about their abuse. Man.
Our society is not friendly to those kinds of things. I mean, if you think about people who would hide their laundry, right? Like if you were pregnant, they would send you away, and then you just
send you away
back with like a little sister.
Yes,
because that part. We don't have time for today, but this society has a thing about hiding dirty laundry. So hey,
wow. Well, on that, what time is it? It is 12:21. Well,
12:21.
Wow, this was a packed full of conversation. And if there's anyone out there that happens to see this, hold on a second. Let me go to this. I gotta just put this up if I can. Abuse.
Yeah, listen, here's the thing. We all think it can't happen to you. If you don't allow it, but everyone can be susceptible to this. You just have to know the signs. You have to know the signs.
So here's something I think we'll put this at the end for our viewers and anyone that's listening to this conversation. This is all, it's here in New York State, but you can also get it from the state and national domestic violence hotline numbers are as here. You have the New York State domestic violence 24-hour hotline, 1-800-942-6909 or 711. You have also the New York State chat text hotline, 844-997-2121. Also the National Domestic Violence 24-hour hotline, 1-800-799-7233 or 1-800-787-3224. And we also have the National Deaf Hotline video phone, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., which is also 855-812-1001 for folks that are deaf. New York State domestic violence programs are by county, and it has a whole list. I'll have this connected at the bottom. This is the counties for New York, but there's also the United States as well. There's a number for that as well. But those, because anyone can be abused. Anyone can be in an abusive relationship. Anyone, don't matter how strong the guy is, no matter how strong the woman appears or is, everyone can fall prey to this. And you may think it can't happen to you, but I've seen it happen to the best. And so here's the numbers again, and you'll be able to get that at the end. The link will be in our in the description of this video. Okay, wow, what a conversation. Oh man, guys, thank you for sharing your heart. Gwendolyn, thank you for your transparency and sharing with this community and being here and just laying it out as it is. And I could not, I mean, there's no words. It leaves you speechless, the way society treats people.
Mm-hmm.
And wow.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa, for driving a lot of this conversation and bringing this on the radar. Because again, and most people don't, and you know, we here in this community we talk about, but a lot of the stuff doesn't happen in a small cosm. Whatever these little things are, like when these moments appear in public, like I always say, I always like to use these situations that come into the news or come into the forefront as educational moments, because guarantee it, that's not the only case in the world. There are a lot of abuse, a lot of people dealing with trauma, abuse from so many places and levels of society. Okay. Anyway, woo, go. I'm just gonna leave it like that. I'm not even gonna do my announcements. Other than we are still tomorrow's the last day. We want to try to get the fundraising done for our kids at the IT Information High School in Queens. So let's try to still support. That will be. Let me just give you the that I want to put on the screen, because that's so important. So this is on the GoFundMe. You can just go to my name on GoFundMe, or you can just go Touch Base Daily on GoFundMe, and you can support our young folks who are graduating. We do this every year, and we support the kids with their graduation gowns and oops, I hit the wrong thing. The graduation gowns, and also their prom is happening next week. So let's try to help some of these kids. They work so hard, and their situations, they come from such, to be a young person in a big city and not have money and come from another country and be an immigrant and all the boxes that get checked off in that area. It's hard to make ends meet for parents to get their kids to these things. I remember my mom could not afford to do my prom, could not afford to get my high school ring. It's rough when you're a single parent, or if you have both parents and you just don't have the funds. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's support them. And I think that's it. And let me get this off the screen. And but yeah, go there, and I will be posting it again continually on Instagram. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Love you guys. Love you, Gwendolyn. Love you, Chris. Thank you so much for sharing. What a conversation. Guys, enjoy the day. It is Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday, Focus Friday. We'll be focusing on accounts that inform, bless us, encourage us, and inspire us. Later. I'm out. We're out. Bye. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.